So earlier this year, my mother passed away. You guys knew that she was fighting with stage 4 breast cancer, and she did not win that fight. And now she's in a better place right now, I'm sure. The reason why I waited so long to make this video and tell you guys this news is because every time I even sorry guys, it's a little bit tough to talk about this topic. Every time every time I wanted to talk about it, I couldn't even finish my train of thoughts and any sentence. And so that's why we're gonna quickly transition from this topic into the next one, which is the main point of the video. Because if I stay on this topic for too long, we're not gonna make any progress with the video. So the reason why I put quote mark on God. I've been sitting in my car right now for 3 hours now, and every time I click the video, and it's been months, since she passed away, and hasn't been a single night where I haven't thought about her, and or just not throughout the night, even throughout my day. My mom meant a lot to me. She was the only family member I had, really, towards the end of her life. And the reason behind that is a little bit more complex, but I'll break it down, long story short, here in a bit about that. But damn. Yeah, I mean, it's been months, and I thought that maybe today I would be able to complete the video, and because I don't edit my videos. You guys know that from start to finish, it's raw footage. I'm lazy as fuck. That's why I don't like going on my Adobe Premiere and editing stuff. But that's why I thought I'm gonna wait a little while before I give you guys this news, because it would be easier for me to talk about it. But well, fuck, here we are, huh? As I said, I've been sitting here in this car for 3 hours now. Every time I click the video and start the video, and I have to stop it. But we're gonna see how this one takes, right? So the reason why I put quote mark around this sentence that I said, "It's lonely at the top," is because this quote was strictly and straight from my mom. I'm sure other people have said it in their lives, but growing up, she was the only person who I heard this from a lot. And she was referring that to my dad, because my dad, my biological father, left my mother and I when I was really young, and he wanted to make a better future for himself, and he stabbed a lot of people in the back to do that. And he did climb to the top, but then he claimed to his friends and family that it was lonely at the top. And it gave my mom some inner peace, knowing that karma has bit him back in the ass. So that's why she would always tell me that every time I would tell her, "Mom, I want to be successful, rich, I want to go to the top, this and that, blah, blah, blah." She would always say, "Son, it's always lonely at the top, know that." And that kind of set me back a little bit in my mindset, thinking that, so maybe I don't need all that much money. Maybe only 60 grand, 70 grand a year is good enough for me. Maybe I shouldn't strive to get 400, 500, 600 grand a year, or $1 million a year, right? Till I found the red pill. And pretty much every single philosophy I learned from my mother went out the window. My mother was a great person. she worked her ass off to provide food for me, to keep food on the table and a roof over my head. I never really saw her growing up because she was always out working, making money. So she couldn't give me a whole bunch of time. So I kind of was raised by her family, her side of the family, my uncles and aunts, and kind of just grew up by myself, really. And the people who I met outside when I went outside to school or to the playground, and my friend and my family, and my friends that I met outside. Didn't really have any father figure, and we're going to talk more about that here in a bit. And that was one of the biggest reasons, in my opinion, next to genetics, because in her family bloodline, her great grandma had cancer, breast cancer, and so she was diagnosed with this. So it was already in the genes, in the family genes, and so she was diagnosed with that. But one of the other big factors, in my opinion, was stress. When my father left my mom, my parents' marriage was a love marriage, and the side of the world, the place of the world, the side of the world that we're from, is very frowned upon to have a love marriage, especially at the time period my mom was growing up. And she, despite of having all those negative comments from society, from friends, family, stuck with my father. And she was like a ride or die type of person for him. And then he turned around and left her and myself and me and went out and married some other woman and had kids with those women that he met later in life. So I have half siblings somewhere in the world. That's all I know about them. I don't know them. I don't have any other siblings, like full-blooded siblings. I'm the only children. I'm the only child from my mom's side, by my mom and dad. And so when that happened, when she found out that, sorry, my thoughts are a little bit everywhere right now. I had them all organized in my head, and then as soon as I started talking about my mom, it got me sidetracked. Everything just got messed up in my head. But anyways, I'm trying my best to organize them again. So when that happened, she couldn't bear the pain of him leaving her. And that drove her crazy. I literally saw her almost end her life a few times, commit suicide. And her friends and family stopped her. That's how damaged she was in the head after my dad left her. So that was a tremendous amount of stress that came onto her life when that happened. And then after that, the rest of her life was just struggle. Just struggling her entire life to make some cash to provide for me. You guys do realize being a single mother is not the easiest job. And that's why I tell you guys never date a single mother, is because you have no idea how much stress and baggage you are taking from this single mother, from her previous life before she met you. You as a single man don't need that. If I had a daughter, I would tell her, and she turned out to be a single mother, I would tell her, baby, you're on your own. I'm not going to support you because I know that I was a decent dad from the beginning to give you the knowledge from the get-go, telling you, hey, this is one of the quickest way you can fuck up your entire life is by being a single mother. And you still didn't listen to me and went out and did what you did. So now you have to pay the prices. So I guess my mom paid the prices that way, right? And you as a single man, but still, the other piece of advice I would give my daughter if she turns out to be a single mother is that, okay, well, try to find a simp, try to find a gump, try to find a blue pill simp who's going to take care of you. But if I had a son, now why would I give my daughter that advice? Because I want the best for my daughter. That is the best situation for her. That is not the best situation and scenario for a single man to come in and take somebody else's baggage. The only man who should be taking care of that baggage and that lifestyle and that stress is the man who she procreated with, my biological father, right? That's only fair that way. It's not any other man's responsibility, except the one who made the baby. A lot of people might disagree with me on that, but hey, most of you guys disagree with me with a lot of stuff on this channel. So you can suck my left nut. How about that? I really don't give a shit about your opinion. So here I am as a young man in my 20s, without a mother, without a father, without any siblings or any family. Because as I was saying, the family who raised me, my uncles and aunts, abandoned me as well. Because they thought when my mother was diagnosed with cancer the second time, when it went to stage 4, because for those of you who know anything about cancer, it progressively advances. They thought that I should have dropped everything I'm doing in my life, because I moved out of her place. My mother and I, we lived together till I was 18, 19, and then I moved out of her place. I started living on my own and haven't looked back ever since. Been on my own ever since. They thought I should have dropped all my job, my school, because I was at the school at that time when she was diagnosed at that time, finishing up my aerospace engineering degree. And I should just move back with my mother and take care of her. Financially, emotionally, being her caregiver, all that. And here's another thing. They also told me that if you can't do that, or no, I don't think no, they didn't tell me that. We're gonna get to that here in a bit. My mom told me something else. I'll tell you guys here in a bit on what she said. But yeah, that's what they expected out of me. So let me put you through a scenario. Here's a woman in her 50s who her entire life struggled for her only project in her life, which was me, to put me ahead in life so that I don't go through the shit she went through in her life. I don't struggle as much as she did. She finally got me to a position to where I was self-sufficient, to where I did not need anyone's help, to where I was almost ready to take on this world by myself. I'm so close after sailing my ship throughout all the ocean of life, throughout her sailing her ship with me throughout all the oceans in life, going through all the hurricanes, tornadoes, bad weather. She's finally having a little bit of sight of the shore, of the horizon, of the shore, where she sees that, okay, now finally I can rest my ship. I don't have to struggle and fight anymore, because the project that I had for my entire life is about to finish what I struggled my entire life for him to finish. Do you think this woman would have wanted me to stop and drop everything at that point in my life to go back and take care of her? Now, she obviously said, my mother, when the cancer came back and her situation got really bad, she obviously told me to move back and live with her, but that was her speaking. That was the cancer speaking. That wasn't her speaking from a logical sense. She was very emotional. She could sense that she's about to be, that her life is about to be over here soon. She could sense it. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. So obviously she wanted to be with me because I was the only person, close family to her, even though she did not die alone. My aunt here and my cousins here were with her to take care of her. So it's not like she was in a nursing home by herself and she passed away. No, she had loved ones, family members with her. I just wasn't able to be with her, live with her, because I had my business take off, or I just started my rental business at that point. I'm just finishing up my school. I'm working at the same time as a freelance engineer, making money that way. I cannot, there's no way in hell I was going to drop everything and stop my life to go over there, because I knew she was well taken care of. But that made me a bad person in the eyes of society and in the eyes of my family members. They said that you were supposed to take care of your parents when they cannot take care of themselves. Just like a lot of you guys might agree with that. And this is where I disagree with all of them. I did not have a choice. And this video, by the way, is going to go to my family members as well. They're going to see this video as well. I did not have a choice on which family I'm going to come into when I was coming into this earth. But my parents and my family that raised me had a choice to either keep me or and bring me to either bring me to this earth and keep me or get rid of me. And they chose to keep me and to bring me in this earth. My father, when I was really young, after he left my mom and I, came back and asked my uncle, the uncle who later wanted to stab me in the back, because he wanted to show me how a real man is supposed to be. He asked my uncle that, hey, I'm here to take my son. My uncle pleaded to him, the uncle who raised me, he pleaded to him that, hey, I know that you have the money and the power to use lawyers and the law and all that to take Zeke away from us. You have already given us enough trouble. You've already broken our sister's heart. Please let us keep Zeke and raise him ourselves. So my dad said, okay. So my uncle, my aunt, my grandparents, my mother, everybody not only initially decided to bring me to this earth, but also made a second decision to solidify that first decision that no, even though his dad wants him, we want to keep him. Right? So whose responsibility is this to raise me properly? The people who chose to keep me, right? Because why? Because with choice comes responsibility. With choices come responsibilities. And this is where I differ from a lot of you people. When I don't have a choice to make certain decisions, I don't have any responsibility for it. Just like how you're driving down the road in the passenger seat and you're driving with a person who's intoxicated or whatever, or he might be sober and he decides to rear-end some other guy in the back of his car. He decides to veer the truck or the car off of the road and crash into a ditch. Whose fault is it? The drivers or the passengers? The drivers. Because he had the choice to steer the vehicle or to stop or to do whatever he wanted, and he decided to do what he did. So he has to live with the consequences. I did not have a choice of picking my parents. If I did, I probably would have chosen a good family with a good financial stable situation, with a good stable financial situation to where we wouldn't have to struggle. As far as I can remember. On top of that, when it was time for my uncles and aunts to migrate over to the West, they did some shady shit and lied about certain things in their paperwork. I'm not going to go into too much details in this video because that doesn't matter. And they got caught. When they got caught, they were permanently banned from coming to the West. Because that's one of the big things, is that if you lie about something, it's fine. Like you could have any kind of criminal record, but you cannot be lying to the government. The government does not like that. If you disclose everything, okay, now we can work with it. But they decided to lie. Why? Because they were stupid and they let their emotions get a hold of them. Nobody in my entire family talked to them how I'm talking to them right now in this video, because it's about fucking time somebody put some senses into them, and also to you guys, my viewers, because I know you can relate to this. You have toxic family members who continuously just wants to take from you and doesn't want to better their situation. They always want to be a victim in every situation. Oh, just because I wasn't able to go to the West, that's why my life is so shitty. Whose fault is that? That's your fault, isn't it? Why? Because you decided to do that shady shit. You decided to be disingenuous. So you have to pay the price. Just like how my mom decided to pick a piece of shit person to be the father of her child, me. She made a horrible decision by picking my dad. My dad was a player. She knew that. They met, you know what, I'm not even going to tell you how they met, but she knew that. She even told me that she knew my dad was a player. And she still went ahead and went with him. So she had to pay the price. Not only that, but also after he left her, she had plenty of opportunities in her life to have a whole bunch of high quality men, blue pill simp men, who wanted to take care of her and me. And she still did not go to any of those men. She actually got married on the second time, and that guy ended up being a piece of shit as well. So, not only that, but also she had multiple other chances to turn her life around for the better. But she didn't. So now, at the end of her life, after her and her entire family, my uncles, aunts, after they made mistakes after mistakes after mistakes, they want me to pay the price. Why? Because it's traditional. Because it's the cultural, traditional thing to do. In my culture, in my tradition, I'm sure along with other traditions and culture, it's the right thing to do to take care of your parents when they're old and they cannot provide for themselves. Why? Because they raised you. It's their fucking job to raise me. But it's not my job to raise them, because I did not have the choice to pick them. Goes back to that point I was making about having choices and responsibilities. But they did. If I bring kids, another human being to this earth, now that's my responsibility to take care of that human being. Sure, you can call me barbaric to think about this, but this is the proper way to do things. And since my family, and I'm sure a lot of you guys who's watching this, your family did not do things this right way, you are in a generational slavery system. Meaning every single generation you are struggling and struggling and struggling, and you cannot get out of this slave system, this slave mindset. It all starts with that mindset. When I changed my mindset and I told myself, I'm not helping a goddamn soul who's not loyal to me, who did not benefit me. That's when my money started going up. That's when my business started taking off. I didn't backstab anybody in the back, but that's what my family would like to say though. They literally compare me with my father. They say that, oh, his father left his mother and now he left his mother. They're both pieces of shits. The relationship my father had with my mother is not the same relationship I had with my mother, obviously. So therefore, the responsibilities, the duties my father has for my mother is nowhere near the ones that I have for her. Again, you can disagree with me all day fucking long. I don't give a damn. Do you know why? Because you're a hypocritical son of a bitch. And here's why. Here's why you are a hypocrite and two-faced snake. Here's why you want to bring tradition and culture into the argument and say that, oh, it's the right thing to do traditionally, culturally, because this is what people do in my culture. This is when you bring that up, when it benefits you. But when your nieces are hoeing themselves out, are being a slut on the street, have a body count of over 10, 12, 15, and it still hasn't been married when they're about to hit damn near 30 years old, you look away. You completely look away. You don't even bat an eye on it. You still accept them for who they are. Oh, what happened to religion then? What happened to culture then? What happened to tradition then? Your own fucking sister is living with a man. Your own sister, meaning my aunt, my oldest aunt, is living with a man who she's not even married to. What happened to religion then? What happened to culture then? I know damn well it's not allowed in my religion and culture what you guys are doing. So you only want to be religious and cultural when it benefits you. Not when the conversation turns around. And I'm saying this because I know a lot of your family, my viewers, you guys, your family who are a lot of you guys who are watching me right now, you have family members who are in the exact same boat, doing the exact same shit, trying to shame me for not helping them when they don't even help themselves. It's in our religion, by the way, that says, God says that, sure, I'll help you if you have a good heart, but you also have to help yourself. So when God is not even giving you handouts, why would I? My uncle, my uncle, aunts, cousins, they all found my YouTube channel. They found the video where I was talking about all women are sluts. Your aunt, grandma, mother, sister, everybody is a slut. And they said, how dare you? And my luck, right? My luck. They found this exactly when exactly when my mother was in the hospital. She had a few weeks left before she passed. I think I know how they found it at that moment. It's because they were going through her phone, because she couldn't even, she was unconscious most of the time, so she couldn't even go through her phone. So they went through their phone, and my mom was watching my videos on YouTube. She was subscribed to it, so every time I would upload a video, she would get a notification. So I'm guessing that's how they found my videos, when they went through her phone. And they said, oh, you want to talk about your dying mother like that? Because on that video where I said they're all sluts, go check that video. I didn't take it down. Why? Because I still firmly believe everything I said in that video. I said in that video, I gave my mom's example when I walked in my mom when I was a little kid with another man. And the other man was like a quote-unquote family member of hers. And the other man was married with kids. My mom didn't care. I still walked in on them, caught them red-handed, doing the dirty. And that's when I said, if my mother, who I know to be one of the most virtuous women in this planet, can act that way, can wreck another man's family, another married man's family, then I know damn well every single one of y'all bitches are sluts. In that video I said, every single woman is a slut, but that does not mean that she will act upon it. Meaning she has the whole tendencies, but how she's going to act upon that depends on how she was raised. Her nurturing. If she was raised with good moral values and she lives in a culture where being a hoe is frowned upon, which is not in the West, if she's in the eastern side of the world, then most likely she's not going to have a high body count. Most likely she's not going to do hoe activities. But I promise you, as soon as you bring that bitch from the east to the west side of the world, where she has freedom and to do whatever the fuck she wants, she's going to open her legs to pretty much any dude who looks nice and smiles at her. I promise you that. Don't believe me? Go do that experiment yourself. And even to this day, not a single one of you sons of bitches will change my mind on that. I still firmly believe that. Because why? Because I have seen enough women from the East and the West, both, to know women's true nature. And this is one of their true natures. They're survivalists at core. They're hypergamists. So they're always going to go with the bigger, better deal. Whatever that bigger, better deal is for her. If she values looks, she's going to go with the better looking guy. If she values money, she's going to go with the richer guy. If she values status, she's going to go with the more famous guy. You guys get the idea. Even to this day, I'm not going to change that. So when they found that, they started raising hell. They started leaving comments on my comment section, right and left. I blocked them all. They started leaving Facebook comments on my Facebook wall. My aunt, my own aunt, who quote-unquote raised me. By the way, these people didn't really raise me. They maintained me. They put a roof over my head and they put food on my table. As you're supposed to, because you chose to keep me. I was a baby. I was a kid. I couldn't take care of myself. As soon as I could take care of myself, when I turned 18, 19, I got the hell away from all of you and I started doing so. I wasn't sitting around for a handout. I'm sharing all these stories with you guys because I know that a lot of you guys are going through this or will go through this. And at the end of it, you're going to tell yourself, man, I am lonely. You are supposed to be lonely at the top. Because when you get to the top, you realize none of these normies and NPCs and these mouth breathers And these normal people have the same mindset as you. Because to get to the top, to become a millionaire, to become someone rich, to become someone who's worth a damn, not even rich, to even just become a philosopher. Because a lot of philosophers are broke. Socrates, Aristotle, they're all broke people. But they had that higher level mindset, thinking ability. To even think like that, you have to think completely opposite from what the rest of these people are thinking. To get to that millionaire status, you had to think differently. So automatically, from the mind, in using your own thoughts, you are separating yourself away from most people. Most people don't think like that. Most people don't even know how money works. They say that, oh, just save a little bit and then put your savings into a Roth 401k or into stocks. Fuck that. That's not how you build wealth. People don't know how to take risks, calculated risks. They do dumb shit. My uncles growing up wanted to make their own business. They did dumb shit. They flopped all their businesses. And they think that, oh, just because anybody wants to start a business now is going to flop on their business. I've been doing just fine. I've been running this business for 3-4 years now. I'm doing just fine in my 20s. Sure, I have gone through down periods, but it didn't completely flop. This uncle that I just told you about got in touch with an individual who was on my YouTube channel and this bitch was fucking obsessed with me. She was leaving comments in pretty much every single video of mine, and I made over 600 videos, and she would get in arguments with a lot of you guys. I think some of you guys know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to name names. They don't need that publicity. This bitch was an OnlyFans hooker. I later found out. She had her OnlyFans link on her Instagram bio. When she tried to follow me on Instagram, that's when I saw her OnlyFans link. This bitch was selling herself online for money. She was literally a prostitute. And my uncle got in touch with her and started telling her all my information. My real name, where I'm from, where I live, blah, 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 everything. Are you fucking kidding me? And do you know what the reasoning was behind my uncle's actions that he did this? He said, oh, you want to be a real man? I'll show you what a real man is. He literally wanted to harm me by calling the cops. First of all, I don't even know what the fuck you're going to call the cops for. We have freedom of speech in the United States, so I can say whatever the fuck I want. In the place where you live, I know you don't have freedom of speech, and maybe that's why you think what I'm saying here on YouTube is against the law. No, it's not. And I've told you guys plenty of times, know the law, even if it's a speeding ticket or a speeding law, and don't break it. Don't ever break laws. Be a law-abiding citizen. Be a good citizen. But that does not mean that you cannot think for yourself, and that does not mean that you cannot be a free thinker. So yes, you are supposed to be lonely at the top. So yeah, by the way, this uncle, right? When he did that, I figured that out. I got in touch with my lawyers and my attorneys. I have a team of lawyers. You have to have lawyers when you're running a business, because of these type of people will come in and try to harm you. This person who quote unquote raised me and who was supposed to be the father figure in my life. The reason why I said that they didn't really raise me is because nobody in my family, not a single person in my family taught me how to be a man. This person, this uncle, who said he wants to show me how to be a real man, he bolded those letters too, saying real man, capitalized them. Even he's not a real man. He's a woman. He's acting like a woman when he's doing this stuff to try to harm me by going behind my back and stabbing me in the back. What kind of energy is that? That's feminine energy. Masculine men don't do this shit. What is he gonna get out of this? By the way, do you think he's gonna get some money out of putting my information out there and having people threaten me and showing up to my house and try to kill me? Do you think he was gonna get some money out of this? Fuck no. His life still would have been miserable. He's struggling in his 50s. He has a wife and a kid. That kid is growing up every single day to see their parents argue and fight. What is that kid learning? You're raising that kid to be a feminine woman as well, or to be a feminine man as well. So how are you going to teach me how to be a real man when you're not even a man yourself? My mother, when she was finally cured from the first time she had cancer, stage 1 and 2, she started working at fast food. As I said, she was struggling to put some food and roof over my head. And she wouldn't even save the savings, the little bit of savings that she had left. She would send it back home to him, my uncle, and my grandma, her mother. I guess that's where I differ from my mother. And here's the other thing. If I was in a situation to help my mother, I would have done so in a heartbeat. All I'm trying to tell you guys is that I was not going to stop my life to go help her, because I couldn't even have helped myself if I did that. How would I help her financially if I stopped working and go and live with her? Get a job at Subway? You think that's going to be able to help her? No. I'm going to be another burden on top of her at that stage of her life. She did not need that. I'm sure part of her was happy knowing that the person, the project, me, that she worked so hard for in her entire life is doing well by himself. He does not need anybody's help. He's not going to turn out to be like a loser. He's winning in life. I'm sure part of her was very happy before she passed away knowing that. But as I said, it was the cancer in her talking and getting emotional that, oh, why aren't you coming and living with me? I'm almost gone. You should be with your mother, right? Because and I'm gonna get to that here in a bit. But as I was talking about my uncle, right? This video is gonna be a little bit long. Bear with me. As I was talking about my uncle, this guy was taking this money every month from my mother, because my mother was supporting him. He's in his 50s. My mother is also in her 50s. They're supporting him. He doesn't have a decent job. So all this money that my mother sent to family, where's all that money? I didn't get a piece of that money. So why are you asking me now to help her financially, to help her emotionally? You guys were there leeching off of her, taking stuff from her. So why couldn't you guys step up now when she needed you? She was there when you needed her. And again, you might say that, well, you were there when you needed her too. Yes, as I said, the relationship is different. I'm her kid. It is her responsibility. It is her job, her duty to take care of me. Till the day I can't take care of myself, as long as I cannot take care of myself. That's how nature is supposed to work. You look at birds, you look at the animal kingdom. When the little puppy, little cub grows up, little bird grows up, it spreads this wing and it flies away. It has to make its own life now. That's all I did. But as I said, if I was in the situation to help her, I would have done so in a heartbeat. But I knew that if I left what I was starting to build at that point, everything would have crumbled upon me. And I would have been lost. I probably would have been homeless by that point. So I made the logical decisions, even though some of you guys might say that it was a harsh decision. Well, that's where a man differs from a little boy. That's when you have to separate your emotions out of your logic and make the logical decision in your life. And this is why that uncle could not make good decisions in his life. I'm not talking shit on him, because he put food on my table. As a kid, when I couldn't do shit for myself, he was there, right? But it really breaks my heart to see them this hypocritical and thinking I'm the bad guy. Oh, as I said, my aunts literally called me a murderer. Said that I am the reason why my mother passed away. I killed my mother. What about the times when my mother and I moved back with one of my aunts and our cousins? The cousin I was telling you about who was a whore, who turned out to be a hoe. Right? Both of my cousins were females, are hoes. The one of them, the youngest cousin, would put tremendous amount of stress on my mom's mind every single night because she was very loud in the house. She would play loud music when my mom would go to bed at night, try to sleep. She couldn't sleep. She would bring people over late at night, couldn't sleep. She's another psycho bitch. A complete fucking loser themselves. My cousins, they're just fucking losers, but that's another video topic. So what about those times? What about that stress? You want to tell me that I put stress on my mom's mind, that's why she passed away from stress, from cancer. What about the stress, the 10 years of stress my cousin put her through? All of you guys, my family members, put her through. What about that stress? Nobody wants to talk about that, huh? Maybe you guys are just emotional, that's why you called me a murderer and this and that. I wish, man, I really wish I had the superpower to stop her cancer. I would have done anything and everything I could have done to stop that cancer, but I couldn't have. There's nothing I could have done. That is the worst part of it all. But yeah, maybe my uncles and aunts were very emotional. That's why they did the things that they did, try to harm me, take me down, or said the things that they said. That's why they might have called me a murderer, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Cancer is the murderer, if you really think about it. Did you know that you eating rice, carbs, sugar is what's killing you? Did you know that not only the stress part, but also my mom's eating style and lifestyle? When I tried to give my mother and my family members diet plan and workout plan, they didn't listen to me. Did you know that shitty lifestyle is also adding to that cancer? You guys don't even know how cancer works. I did my research, especially ever since my mom was diagnosed with it. That's how I know. So, nobody wants to talk about any of that, right? None of that. Did you know that fasting actually cures cancer? And the crap that the doctors were putting my mom through did not? Doctors wanted my mom to eat sugar. Apples, fruits. Eat fruits. Yeah, fruits are good, sure, but they also have sugar. And sugar is one of the leading causes of cancer. You don't even know that. This is why I'm on a ketogenic diet. This is why I fast. This is why I don't eat carbs, sugar. So as I said, yeah, maybe they're emotional. That's why they said. But yeah, about this uncle, right? So I called my team of lawyers, and we filed a report, police report, domestically and internationally. We're ready. You want to take me down? You want to play with fire? Bring it. Let's see what you got. I don't want to do that to you. Why? Because as I said, you were family at one point to me. They got mad. Check this out. Grown-ass people like my uncle and aunts got mad at me because I could not call them enough. My mom also got mad at me towards then because she told me when her cancer came back, she told me, hey, if you can't come over here and move back over here with me, at least try to call me every single day. I could not even do that. But I called her at least twice a week. Try to stay in touch with her then, that way. Every time I had any kind of chance to go up to see her, she lived a few hours away from me. Maybe I brought some friend with me, a girlfriend, whatever. I always said, yeah, sure, I have people with me, but I still want to come spend time with you. They said, no, you only gotta come with you. No, you cannot bring anybody else. Like, this is just childish shit that my family was doing. And calling me the bad guy because of that. Just doing childish shit. That's how busy I was that I couldn't even call them, stay in touch with them. I couldn't even call my mother every single day who had cancer. And they got mad at me, these uncles and aunts who are in perfect health. Every single time, by the way, my mom would call them to talk to them. They would always fight about some bullshit. Whenever I was living with my mom, I always saw this. And my mother was the type of person who could not let the stress go from her head. Any kind of small stress, she couldn't let things go. And those built up stress too. I'm telling you guys, stress is one of the leading causes. Stress and lifestyle, your eating stuff, like your diet plan and your workout plan is two of the biggest reasons why people die from cancer. Lifestyle and stress. And so every single time they would call and talk to each other, the siblings, they would always fight about stuff. And whenever my mom would hang the phone up, I would always see how stressed out she is. So those people also added to that stress. Nobody wants to talk about that, right? I'm the bad guy, huh? When I'm the one who lost everything. Every fucking thing in terms of my family. I'm pretty much an orphan right now, right? Don't have any siblings, nobody. At least those people got themselves. And I'm not The main reason why I'm making this video towards the end and why I'm going to send it to my family is because I still love you guys. I still care about you guys, but I'm just not you. I think differently about life. I still want to come see you guys. I still want to talk to you guys. Oh, as I was saying, let me finish that. As I said, my thoughts are everywhere right now. But that uncle, or those people, my uncles and aunts, were so offended that I wouldn't call them. They're like, "Oh, you abandoned us because you wouldn't call me." What the fuck? That right there should have told you that not a single male in my family is actually a man, because only a real man, as he said, he wants to show me what a real man is. Only a real man knows that men have to go out there and make things happen on their own. They don't have the luxury to sit around and call family members every fucking day. Maybe we'll call you once every year, once every 6 months, and that's good enough. Why can't you call me? Why is your ego so big that you cannot call me? Why do I have to call you? I can say the same thing. You haven't called me, so you're a piece of shit too, right? See, this is the type of drama, the bullshit your family will bring to you, fellas, as you're trying to level up. Do you really need that in your life? This is why I say cut off family members. That's why I have cut off them as well. But as I was saying, I still love them. I still love them, I still care, I still want to see them. But that does not mean that I'm going to live my life and do things how they want me to do. I'm not going to live my life how they want me to live. See, I'm already on the debauchery side. I don't believe in no sex till marriage for men. I fuck chicks right and left. I go on multiple dates. I'm living the fast life, sure. But I don't switch sides. I don't blur the line. I picked my side and I'm staying on this side. Unlike you hypocrites. You two-faced snakes who only want to be religious and traditional when it benefits you. Let's talk about it. Why not, huh? And as I said, it is supposed to be lonely because you don't think like this when you're at your normie job or living the normie lifestyle. You don't think how the governments across the world. Never mind. I'm not even going to go into that. That's too much for you guys on this video. You guys don't even see where the world is heading right now, do you? You think getting your $1,000 stimulus check was a good thing for you. You think this 10K, 20K student loan forgiveness was a good thing for you. It's a horrible thing for you. You think relying on the government is a good thing. It's fucking retarded. You think divorce rate going up, family breaking apart, feminism, you think these are good things, right? Why? Because you're a normie. Because you're an NPC. That's why you think these are normies. That's why you think these are good things. When you're at a level where I'm at in the mindset, you're gonna be lonely because not a whole lot of people think like you. And when people don't think like you cannot associate with yourself with them for too long. Automatically you stay away from them. And this is why it's lonely at the top. It's not lonely at the top. This is why they say it's lonely at the top. It's alone at the top, but it's not lonely. Just because you're alone, as I said, I don't have anybody in my life in terms of family. But I'm still not lonely. I'm very content with my life. Why? Because at the end of the day, when I go to bed, I tell myself that I did not sell my soul to anybody. I'm genuine to myself. I'm true to myself, to my heart. I know I didn't stab anyone in the back. I know I didn't do anything wrong to anyone. I've always done the right thing. I've always lived with my morals. I did not try to switch back and forth between morals. That's why. You guys go to sleep with miserable because you don't have that mental peace. Money is not the root of all evil. Your mindset is when you think like evil. When you think like a fucking dumbass. And you want to project your failure onto other people. And you want to point them to be the root for your unhappiness. It's in our human nature to point and to blame somebody else or something else when we're going through a tragedy, going through a hard time. It's in our human nature. Every single human does that. Unless, as I said, you think differently and you tell yourself, no, the failures of my life are caused by me. My oldest aunt always babied everybody in the families, including her own daughters, my cousins that I was telling you about who turned out to be hoes. Guess what happened? All the people that she babied, my uncles, ended up being fucking losers. All her daughters who she babied ended up being fucking losers and hoes on the street who no high value man wants. Congrats, aunt. That's what you did. Nobody in her 50 years of life told her these things because everybody was afraid of her. Why the fuck would somebody be afraid of someone like that? You failed at life. You worked at a retail store your entire life instead of bettering your life. I'm not talking down on you. I'm giving you a lesson that your father, who my grandpa, who also passed away from brain cancer. That's another tragedy, right? Forgot to mention that. Yeah, I didn't have the best life, man. I didn't have the easiest life. And hey, I'm not trying to compare hardships with you guys. I'm sure you guys have had your own problems too. Who your father, my grandpa, forgot to give you the lessons. Who some other man forgot to give you in your life. You need a kick in the ass. You need tough love. Nobody in this family and that family ever gave anybody that. Everybody was too worried about hurting someone's feelings. Fuck your feelings. That's what I think about it. I'm half your age and I'm saying all this to you. Do you know why? Do you have any idea why I'm even telling you any of this, people? Because you have young children in your life right now. You have sons who are the next generation. And I don't want that next generation to end up like you. As I said, you want to teach me how to be a real man, but your life's falling apart. You are on feminine energy. You want to harm somebody. Real men don't do this shit. We would rather leave all the bullshit and drama behind and go make something out of our life. Be worth a damn. Be someone worth a damn. Make sure we have genuine knowledge and wealth to pass down to our next generation too. Instead, we pass down our slave mindset to our next generation. Your 9-to-5 job, I don't care how much money you make, is still keeping you as a tax slave job. Or still keeping you as a tax slave. You're paying taxes, right? You're a slave to the system. You stop working, you're not going to get the money. You hate going to your job. You don't even do anything productive in your job. You sit in your job, 9 to 5? You work there maybe 2 hours. You actually do some productive work 2 hours out of that 8-hour window. The rest of the time, you're scrolling through Instagram, you're scrolling through social media, you're replying to emails, you're answering calls, you're checking out the furniture from the furniture website. You're gossiping with your coworkers. You're not doing actual productive work. So you're wasting your damn time every single day just for a chump change paycheck that the company is using you for. The company is making millions and billions and they throw some chump change at you. Oh yeah, this is still slavery. Because back in the slave days when black people used to be picking cottons, they got shelter and food and they worked in terms of that. Guess what you're doing right now? You are paying for that shelter and food from that chump change that your employer is giving you. And you still don't have shit to save and to do stuff with. That's most people I'm talking about. Not one or two anomalies. Not one or two exceptions. So guess what? Slavery is still here. People don't think like this. When you start thinking like this, automatically you're going to be at the top because and automatically you're going to be alone because other people are going to call you crazy. They don't want to be friends with you. They're like, oh, he's so negative. I don't want to be around him. Automatically you're going to be by yourself. That's why they say it's lonely at the top like this. And that's why I put quotation because I don't agree with this. As I said, my mom was a great person, provided the materials to maintain me and knew that education is important. That's why she pushed me into college. But she did not know what it means to be a man because she did not have a man in her entire life. Her father, my grandpa, he was not a man. He was beta, he was blue pill. My grandma would run the shit show, would run the show. My grandma would fight with him, would curse him out. I've seen it growing up. If your own woman, if your own wife cannot respect you when she's yelling at you, then you're not a man. You're not worthy of receiving respect from anybody when your own wife cannot even respect you. And that's what your children, the next generation of kids, are growing up seeing. And they think that this is normal, and that's how they turn out to be. They don't turn out to be a strong, powerful man. I'm not there yet. I'm still working myself. But I damn well know that I'm going to die trying, though. Either be that or die trying to be that. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise and get your mind away from the prize, which is life, which is winning at life. And if your family, your friends, this bitch you're dating gets in the way, get rid of them. Either you're with me in my journey or you're against me. If you don't agree with my journey, then you're against me and I cannot keep you on my team. It's that simple. And here's the last question I have to pose to my uncles and aunts who disagree with my YouTube channel and say that, oh, you're a misogynist, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Would you want, and this is also for all the ladies who don't like my message as well, would you want your sons to go through a heartbreak to where he wants to almost kill himself? Would you want your son to date a girl and knock her up, get her pregnant, and 9 months later find out that that baby was not his, that she was cheating on him with another man? Would you want your son to get married to some chick and that she divorces him 7-8 years later down the road and takes half of his wealth, leaves him crushed, brokenhearted? Would you want your son to end up becoming a psychopath because life is so hard for a man and he doesn't know what to do with all this rejection he's getting in his early 20s when he's a young man? He's lost. Would you want your son to go through any of that pain? Would you want your son to marry another single mother? Would you want your son to marry a chick? This also goes to my cousins who are hoes and sluts on the street. Would you want your sons, if you had a son, to marry someone who's like you? Who's fucked 10 other dudes? Who's not pure? Maybe you would. Maybe you're a selfish bitch like that, to where the happiness of your son comes after the sisterhood code. What's the sisterhood code? What is it? It's you staying strong and keeping each other's secret together. Saying that, oh, doesn't matter what we do, we're still strong and independent, and we're still go-getters, we're still good women, even though we are cum dumpsters. We're pump and dumpers. Maybe so. Maybe you're just that selfish, to where you sacrifice your own kids because of the sisterhood code. I'm not like that. Would you want your son to go through all this? No, you wouldn't. Then why are you against my message? Because that is exactly what I teach men on this channel. To avoid shitty situation like this and to improve your life. This is a men's improvement men's improvement channel. And you don't even know what the fuck it means to be a man. You walk around with 35% body fat, and that's what your kid is growing up to see. Maybe you're gonna get cancer from living this unhealthy, unhealthy lifestyle. Maybe that's what your kid's gonna grow up and end up being. You want that for you want your kids to go through that? So instead of being a woman and acting like a woman and yelling and fighting and screaming and arguing like a woman, because that's what women do. Why don't you take actions in your life towards a positive direction? That's what my channel is about. When I said that they're all sluts, I made sure to give the message to my men and all men who's watching this, to not put your heart and your beliefs and your trust into a woman. You should be putting all that into yourself, because that's what stoic men do. That's what stoicism is. A man needs to be stoic, not emotional. Emotions are a woman's playground, not a man's. Because a whole bunch of you simps out here put the meaning of your life in a woman's hands, thinking that when you find a woman, a good woman to marry, a Virgin Mary, That's when your life has meaning. And that's why I made that video saying they're all sluts, meaning there is no such thing as a good woman. They all have these tendencies inside of them. You just have to get it out of them. The right guy can get it out of them. And that's what you have a problem with? Well, too fucking bad. I'm still gonna keep preaching this knowledge. Watch me or don't, up to you. But everything I've said so far were logical. And I know you won't even think twice about it. You're just gonna watch this shit. You're gonna get furious and angry just like a woman without even using your logic. You guys went to school, right? You have master's degree. I'm talking to my family members. You guys have master's degrees and you still think like children. Act like children. That by itself should tell you that a college degree don't teach you jack shit about life. Education ain't shit. I said a lot, man. I said a lot. An hour into it. I wanted to make this a 20-30 minute max video. Now we're an hour into it. Hope this one made sense, man, you know. My mom is a better place right now. I think about her. I miss her every single day. And the only people that I have closest to her were the people who raised me, and they don't even want to see me. Maybe they'll want to see me. As I said, I want to see them. I'll give them tough love, but I still love them. I will help you by creating opportunities, by showing you direction to where you help yourself. But I'm not going to give you handouts. And I was not in a situation to help my mother either. Because I know a lot of you guys would have to make a decision, a hard decision between life and death. And I want you to choose wisely. Not telling you that's what you should do. If you were in my shoes and you wanted to drop everything and go help your mother, hey, good for you. I'm just not that type of person. They tell me that, my family members told me, you would always have your life to build, but your mom will not be there. Of course, not a single one of us will ever be here. We're all gonna die at some point. And if I take your words, I'm gonna end up like a big loser like yourself. So no, I'm not stopping my life. Let me think for myself. If my mom did not have a single family member left to take care of her, yes, I would have made arrangements to make sure that she's not in a nursing home rotting by herself. I would have stepped up. But she had options. And I knew that, and I knew she's in good hands. That gave me peace. She was taken care of. But when you guys do this bullshit, two-faced, hypocritical bullshit to tear down the people who was actually trying to do something and get out of that generational slave system, you try to bring them back down. I have a problem with that. Follow me on Instagram at zeekpeak00. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope this one made sense. Hit me up on Cash App at $zeekpeak. IG boy on Snapchat at zeekpeak_00. And I'll see you boys on the next one.